Hello, sweet souls. This is DTO in the flow for my 5Q interview show. And today I get to interview Katie Nesbitt. Before I read her bio, let's just close our eyes for a moment, take a deep breath in through the nose, open mouth exhale. And let's all clear space to welcome this amazing soul sister. Katie Nesbitt is a zealous lover of life, yoga, and adventure. She has come to understand that life is about uncovering your passions, finding your flow, and catching your dreams. Katie has over 500 hours of yoga teacher instruction hours, and she is a breathwork facilitator, level 2 Reiki practitioner, and she resides normally in Los Angeles, California. And today we're going to be speaking with her from Bali, Indonesia. Katie specializes in teaching vinyasa yoga, stand-up paddleboard, SUP, S-U-P, yoga, meditation, corporate wellness. Katie guides students through creative and effective yoga and meditation classes with a sense of mindfulness, positivity, compassion, and love. Katie's deepest desire is to guide others along their personal path in being and becoming one of well-being, uncovering their authentic selves and living with purpose. Katie's approach will help you deepen your yoga practice to restore your mind. And Katie has an amazing offering. She is doing online streaming classes and she does retreats as well, which she'll speak more into. All right, without further ado, let's bring on Katie Nesbitt live from Bali.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So nice. It's like this international global pandemic really uh, allows for these like live streaming opportunities, live streaming classes, live streaming private yoga. There's so many things that have shifted in our world, right?
Yeah. Yep. A lot has shifted. We've had to adapt quite a bit here, but it's nice to be able to connect on different platforms, even that much deeper and farther.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I feel the silver lining has been for a lot of us. And, even through this process of having to be quarantined or being indoors, as you know, one of the aspects of yoga is the inward journey. And so being inside or going within for yogis and yoginis, I feel that there's an opportunity for those out there that have witnessed and recognized that part of themselves that is that creative soul within that we get to, like, as you said, which I loved when I read your bio, the uncovering of your passions. So good. It's like they're always right there, but you just have to okay,
Right.
peekaboo.
Yes, it's under that surface. We just have to clear it out.
Totally. Awesome. Well, let's dive into the 5Q interview. Question one is, what is your journey with yoga?
I began yoga. My first yoga class was over 20 years ago, actually, with my mom and stepdad in the state of Maine, where I grew up. And my mom heard about yoga, and we decided to go to a local YMCA and check it out. And after that, my yoga journey really was honestly more of a supplement to, I was a springboard diver growing up and throughout college, and it became more of a supplement to my diving career. So, yoga honestly began for me much more as a physical level of how to get more flexible, stronger, get in my body, have more mind body connection to help me excel even more as a springboard diver. So it really started off on the physical place for me for about 10 years on and off. I wasn't one of those yogis that just jumped in my very first class. I was dropping all into it. It was a journey for me. It took some time. It took some years. It took on and off. I would cycle in and out of practicing yoga. And then I still remember one class in particular that I took, and I was in a yoga posture, and a specific breath that I took, it hit me way deeper. And after that, yoga became much more regular. And then soon after that, I decided to do a yoga teacher training. And I kind of feel like the rest is history after that. It really became a part of me. So it really transformed for me from a physical practice on and off for many years into that much deeper layer. And it happened very authentically, very organically. And it grew into something that I just feel the need. I have to be sharing this with people.
That's beautiful. And so that leads me easily into question number 2. So what inspired you to teach? So once you had that awakening moment, and as you said, it was more of a gradual, like let's say unfolding or uncovering. So what was that? Did you have a moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to teach? Or were you kind of inspired by someone maybe kind of urge you into that next step?
I had a lot of supporters with it, encouraging me to take that next step and take the step just to, as a lot of people who go into a yoga teacher training, you go into it thinking, I just want to learn more about this. It's really fascinating to me. It's inspiring to me. You have teachers that inspire you. You have other students that inspire you. You have a community that you become a part of. And it gets much more inquisitive, this whole journey of yoga. And that's where I was, is I want to get deeper into it. I want to learn more about this. And through that journey, it wasn't only learning about the yoga asana, the physical side of it, but you start to get deeper into meditation, into breath work, pranayama. And you also start to, again, just get more inquisitive about yourself, this whole self-study aspect of yoga. And then what you can uncover from that is you start to pull to the surface a lot more of your desires in life, of how you want to live in this world. And that's what I started to really uncover. And as soon as I finished my yoga teacher training, I was very lucky to begin teaching right away. I started teaching at corporations, because I was also a full-time corporate employee, working at some large companies. And the companies actually had a corporate wellness program. And I went to the director, and she knew how much I really enjoyed corporate wellness and trying to get the employees a lot healthier. So I started teaching there. I started teaching in corporate America. And the studio where I did my yoga teacher training, they did ask me to begin teaching there pretty quickly, which I am forever grateful for, because that's the hardest step is jumping into the deep end and starting to teach. And, you're in front of students, you're trying to remember sequences, the studio where I did my training and taught for a while, they're very music based as well. So we actually brought music into it, and it was this whole full spectrum of teaching, which brings about some stress. But I was really, really grateful to be pulled right into it immediately. So I didn't have that lag time between completing my teaching and, being afraid of stepping in front of people and beginning to share the knowledge that I learned and that I was growing with. So, I did a lot between teaching within corporations and also teaching at studios while I was still working full time at the time.
Wonderful. Wow. And we have a comment that's coming in. If you know Meli Aguayo, dear soul sister. She said, hola, sending you good vibes, uncovering your passions. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. That's really big in my world. I think because I grew up as a springboard diver for many, many years, and that was a huge passion of mine. And all of a sudden, once I stopped that diving career in college, you can't, I always kind of say this, you can't just go to a pool and dive again. You need to have a coach, lifeguards, all of that. It's not like swimming or running where you can just go out and do it, just about any time. That's not the way that it works. So I used to, when I was in my 20s, really speak a lot about this for student athletes, where you grow up with a very strict schedule, with, a passion that you've had to excel. And then all of a sudden it felt like it was stripped away. And where did that leave me? So it left me wondering, it left me questioning a lot of, what is my purpose? What are my other passions right now? And it took me quite a few years to find that. And honestly, not until I got deeper into yoga did I uncover that passion once again. But it did take a few years. And I think that that's something that honestly isn't talked about as much as I feel like it should be for student athletes or for people that have a particular passion in life. And then whether it's in your control or not, it's then stripped from you. And where does that leave you? And it can leave you questioning a lot about, what is my purpose? What are my passions in life? Where do I go from here? And I think that I know yoga really helped me uncover that once again. And it helped me get back into my body again. It helped me get back into this mind-body connection, helped me get back into really feeling a deeper passion for life. all around. And then from there, kind of going back to the question of what inspired me to teach, I was teaching and working full time in very large corporations from, 70,000 employees up to 280,000 employees. And I started to transition into running corporate wellness programs at these companies as well. And I was discovering that teaching yoga was really that passion and where I was making a large impact individually with a lot of students. And that is an area where I really wanted to focus even more. And that's when I then transitioned about 3 years ago. I left the corporate world and I started diving even deeper into yoga. I started leading yoga retreats around the world. During this whole time, I was also assisting with yoga teacher trainings as well. So it's been quite a journey of bringing something into my life while still holding on to that old life before I was ready to let it go a little bit more and take that leap even deeper into yoga. So for me, it has been a journey of a lot of hard work and taking quote unquote risks to follow this passion of mine, but really believing in this purpose that I have to share what yoga can do for people. And people start at different places on their path, because I know that from experience, where again, I wasn't that person that, oh, yoga, right away. It came about over time, and I just kept following that. I kept following the feelings and the experiences that it was bringing to me. And I started to see life open up in a lot of different ways. And I just kept following that path little by little, little by little, until I felt even more comfortable to really jump more fully into this industry and this career path and what it can do for not just myself, but also for so many other people.
I love that. And especially with your background of being an athlete, then you know that your body is an instrument. It's that vessel, or as for yoginis and yogis, it's our temple, right? It's our temporary, we're the Atma, right? We're this forever energetic soul on this planet. And then we get to embody and be here. And
Yeah.
here's a great photo of you embodying. So cool. I love this. And so I'd love for you to speak about, as you said, there was this downtime or this questioning, and a lot of people that might be watching may not understand Dharma. And so do you feel at this point, despite of the twists and turns, and of course we're going through this world pandemic where people feel a lot of maybe sad energy or lack of purpose, or they haven't yet uncovered what it is that they're here to do on a larger scale. And obviously you've made that transition. You're really like a bridge to me, because you're living in both worlds, as far as the corporate Western world and then bringing in this 5,000-year-old Eastern practice from India. And so what's your take on that, as far as how your Dharma has shown up in your life in mysterious ways?
Yeah, it does. It continues to show up in mysterious ways. And I'm going to be honest, there are times for myself, there are times I speak to many yoga instructors where, especially during this time right now, it's very challenging for us. It is, it's one of those moments, I think, for people in the yoga community that are trying to share their passion and what has helped them in life and what has become their dharma, and living in this world and trying to create a better world through this practice. And it is challenging. We are, a lot of us in this industry, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It is something that you constantly have to keep stepping into it. I've had many hard times, struggles throughout this whole process, and many times where I have questioned, is this the right path? Do I keep going through the struggles? And the answer always comes up, yes. Yes. Organically it comes up, but that doesn't mean that people that are leading yoga and on this path, this dharmic path of teaching yoga, meditation, pranayama, that that there's not those questioning moments as well. And especially at a time right now where things have changed, and they changed drastically overnight for just about for everybody. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to exclude anybody from what's happening in this world from one degree to another. And one thing that I'm really doing right now during this whole time, over these last 2+ months at this point, is speaking with a lot of people. And where they're at and their individual struggle of what they're going through. And every day I talk to somebody new, and it opens up my mind that much more to where they're at right now and what they're working through. But of course, I'm in the yoga industry right now, so I have many, many yoga instructor friends. And we talk about this is, okay, how do we now, we have to adapt, we have to pivot, this is changing, and we need, if this is our dharma, we need to change with it, and we need to still get this gift out there, because I do see it as a gift for so many people to uncover if and when they're ready for it, and knowing that yoga is always there for them when they are ready for it, even if that means somebody who's always just thought about it, or they don't even understand what yoga really means. But hey, maybe now that it's online, I feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm in the comfort of my home. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable logging in. I don't feel as intimidated walking into a yoga studio, because I understand that. I still remember when I would go into yoga studios. I still do if I go into brand new yoga studios in new countries, and I think, okay, what is this yoga studio going to be like? And you're entering into a new community that you're not yet a part of. So of course there's an intimidation factor to that. So I understand that. And that is, again, one of the silver linings to how yoga is now transitioning to being online and having this ability to, I say this, I mean, you've experienced this, as I think I've said it in some of our classes together, is I would never be able to have the different people that are joining into this online class in a class in the past. That it would have been impossible to have people from many different states of the United States, many different countries around the world, all joining into one class. And as different as this is, and a lot of instructors, again, we've had to pivot. We've had to step outside of our comfort zone once again, where there's that first time of teaching, and for many years you're stepping into an uncomfortable place of teaching, and you're stepping beyond the fear of getting in front of people, speaking your truth to people so they can find the truth within themselves. And now we're being forced to do it again, which I find very exciting in some ways, but I'm also very much of a connector in person. So like so many yoga instructors we love to connect in person with people. That is where that energy exchange can be felt that much deeper. So it has been a major transition for us of going online. And the way that I personally teach is, it's not me demonstrating everything. It's me looking at the room, looking at the individuals, and teaching from that place. So it's very different. So I want people that are listening to this to understand that yoga instructors right now, we're stepping into some, a different life for us, in ways of being on camera, of teaching, demonstrating, and trying to still connect to that place that we know how to connect to, but now it's using a different platform and it's using technology. So there are some of those challenges and the changes, but there's the beauty to it of being able to still connect with people. And with me being in Bali, I've been in Bali now for the last 4.5 months, it's allowed me to reconnect to a lot of just people that have touched my heart so much throughout my yoga journey, and we get to stay connected. And even if that is just for periods of time right now while we're online, it is felt. It is deeply, deeply, deeply felt, I think, at least on my end, it is. So that's a beautiful aspect of what is happening, and we continue to try to grow through some of these struggles and challenges that we're all facing. Again, I read somewhere recently, and I've shared this with a few people right now, that, you've heard people say, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat right now. And this quote said, we're not in the same boat. We're all in the same storm right now.
Correct.
We're all in our individual boats. So my boat is different than your boat. Your boat is different than everybody else's boat. And it's trying to find that understanding and that level of compassion that people are going through their own hidden struggles that nobody will know. But you have to understand that their situation is very different than anybody else's situation. So it's finding that level of connection through all of this, through the separation that we're feeling right now. I mean, because we are feeling separated. That's kind of impossible with this isolation that's happening, with everybody even here in Bali wearing masks, not being able to see expressions anymore. That is creating a more energetic isolation that's happening as well, which, can be detrimental if we can just focus on that, but how can we find those other ways to connect and those other ways to find empathy and connect on this energetic level of what people are going through, and to be there as a support system to everybody, and knowing that each day is very different. I even say this, every hour is very different these days. And it's just
Totally. Yeah. Hours are
remembering,
days, days are weeks, weeks are months. And
right.
then space and time kind of, doesn't exist. Well, and this gets into question number 3, like, and you touched a little bit on this, like what makes your classes unique. And I know you have the skill sets of breath work, meditation, your asana practice, Reiki. So when people experience your classes, another way to frame this is, what kind of praise and what kind of results do people have that they share with you?
Usually the number one thing is that they know that I'm speaking from my heart. And I think that is I have, even from my class descriptions a lot of the time, and how I speak, is it's speaking from this very heart-centered place. And that is felt with people. And I'm glad that is felt, because that is the truth. And I really focus on how do we open up our hearts, because with that comes how we connect with ourselves through self-love. And so how do we connect? So yoga is so much about uniting, mind, body, and spirit. That's sort of that more classic definition. But I like to look at it as, how do you connect? How do you connect deeper within yourself? And then you use that deeper connection with yourself to then connect deeper and more authentically with other people. So as we continue to do that, my hope, my desire is that can slowly change the world, to become an even better place, and a more compassionate place, and a more heart-centered place. Because when we can speak from that place, when we can live from that place, I feel it can be much more authentic, and of course a more loving world that we're living in. So I think
Absolutely.
that's really where my classes stem from. Every time I step on that mat is, how do I connect to this heart center? And, if you know things about chakras, that's the center that connects from this more physical layer in this world into the upper higher state. So that's that bridge in that area. So that's really where I come from. And, another thing is that my yoga journey continues to evolve, and that's just who I am as a person. So I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly learning, good or bad. I really love to just continue to deepen my knowledge, and then to share that knowledge with whatever does connect, and whatever I can understand and what resonates with me, I then want to share that. So my yoga journey, again, began more physical, and it has now transitioned into a deeper heart-centered place. And from there, in the last, I would say about 8 months or so, is when I started to get into a deeper breathwork practice, and this transformational style of breathwork, where, from my experience and from experiences that my students have, is it breaks them open in a whole different way. And
Beautiful.
yeah, so that I'm finding is an even deeper way, and another way, just simply another way that somebody might be ready to open up, to release, to let go, and then to welcome in where they're at and where they want to be going in their life and with their dharma. And so that's something that I've really been transitioning into and bringing into my practices. And that's another, I keep looking at what are the silver linings of what's going on in this world right now. And that's another one, is teaching online. It's actually giving me this ability of this freedom to show more and to share more of what I love to teach, and where I want people to learn and just experience, just try it, just to try it out for themselves. It might not resonate with them. It might not resonate with them in this moment, but just start to open up your eyes, open up your heart to some other aspects of yoga, of growth, of evolving our spirit, and evolving in our lives here on this planet right now, in this lifetime. So, with teaching online, it's allowing me to teach yoga, to teach more meditation, to teach also this breath work, and also to connect with people like you, to combine, my love of music and, with yoga, and where that can take people as well, because I feel it can take people to a deeper level also.
That's a perfect segue for question 4. So how do you integrate music not only in your life, because I know you have playlists and it can be the soundtrack of every possible moment in this human experience. How is music essential to your yoga practice? I know you talked about breathwork techniques and your asana practice and other integration. So how does music play a role in that?
This is a great question, especially for, yoga instructors around the world, I would say, because I think in the United States and the Western world, we integrate music more. And for me,
Yes.
music is not, it's for me, the best way I can put it is a way to amplify an experience. So it's not to play something just to have people only get into the music or be distracted by the music, but how do we use it to help support what we're already doing, and not to distract, but to help amplify what the purpose of that class is. So, it can be something where if again, I have a specific theme or a specific type of a class I want to be teaching, I create a specific playlist every single time, and it's something where it's another connection of my heart into this class. And the way that I build my playlist is very specific. It's very methodical. And it is this building. It's this building within a class of starting off slow, getting into your body, getting into your breath, getting into the experience. And as we start to move with the flows, if I'm teaching a vinyasa class, then it is, again, it's like it's supporting it. It's not pulling you out of the practice. Visually, I'm just imagining, kind of holding the practice a little bit of that, a little bit of an extra support to help people just connect even deeper. But again, not as a distraction, not as a way to just move and groove with some music, but it's how can you utilize that to embody the practice that much more. And so with my yoga classes, with the yoga classes, I build playlists and even, I'll be honest, with teaching online, it has forced me to move out of using music a bit more just because of technical capabilities that I have right now with being in Bali and how things can be played over technology right now with the class. And so some of my classes, there's no music, but I have also started to, I was creating playlists so that if people wanted the choice to have some music and to still have that effect beneath the surface of our yoga practice, then they can play that, in the background. But it's become more of a choice for them if they would like to do that. But I will say it's a creative outlet for me. I really do enjoy creating playlists, and I do enjoy having that aspect. And then when it comes to this transformational breath work as well, that is another way to help pull people into the experience. So again, I never want people to be pulled out of a yoga or breathwork experience by music. So that's why it's tricky. It can be very tricky. And my music can be very different than somebody else's music. I tend to like a little bit more, how do I say this? Like, I don't know. For me, it touches my soul. It touches my soul in a very kind of movement, flowy, get into your body, get into that experience that much more on that part.
Yeah, and so one of the things you're offering is live music Mondays. We've been collaborating on that. So anyone that wants to check out Katie Nesbitt on her Instagram page, which I'd love to showcase additional photos. So this looks gorgeous. It's like the cover of a magazine.
Thank you.
Yes, and then of course, here's a glorious moment as well. Yeah, what a beautiful practice. And this is BC, before COVID, right?
Yes. That was the last yoga teacher training that.
Yeah. Well, let's get into question 5. So what are you offering now? And you're doing teacher trainings, retreats, online classes. You're pivoting, as you mentioned, and that's what yoga instructors are doing. So I know the audience out there would love to hear like where they can find you online and what are you currently offering?
Yeah, so immediately you can find me online. In the United States, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings. So live music Mondays is great that we collaborate on. And then on Wednesday evenings, I have a yoga and a meditation class. And then on Fridays is when we get into this more heart-centered experience of a gentle flow to open up our hearts, open up our hips as emotional storehouses for a lot of our emotions and energy before we get into some transformational breath work. And it's not a gentle pranayama practice to to slow things down. It's activating. It's very activating to pull things up and out. So you can find me online right now. Excuse me.
Great.
And
so I see Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays.
Yes, yes,
Beautiful. And then you have those playlists. And then you also are offering private sessions. And it looks like people
yes.
can simply contact you through your
Hmm.
website.
Yep. So I offer private yoga sessions, private breathwork sessions as well. I've done that quite a bit as well with some people where, we really, it's interesting to have all these tools right now sort of in the toolbox of my teaching to help people and understand, okay, is today going to look like a yoga practice? Is it going to look like yoga and meditation? Is going to look like a little bit of yoga, some deeper breath work, some Reiki healing? So it's a beautiful thing. I'm really enjoying also being able to connect with people through private sessions as well online. And then in addition to online, the reason why I'm here in Bali right now and why I'm a little bit stuck here is because I was over here leading yoga teacher trainings.
Mm,
So that picture that you just showed was from our most recent teacher training in January and
okay.
February.
So you do a
And
200-hour program.
yes, with Sattva Yoga Bali, and a wonderful, I can't even speak highly enough about this training program that
Wow,
really
it looks
sets
beautiful.
people up to venture. I mean, I'm still in touch with so many of the most recent graduates, and a lot of them are already teaching. They've pivoted very quickly and they've started to teach
Hmm.
online because they're ready to step into it. And that's what this training really does. It's a very deep training when it comes to not just the asana practice, but getting deeper into philosophy,
Mm.
which is a really big piece of yoga that sometimes we don't focus on it. We don't focus on those during our asana practices. So it's how can you again connect to that deeper place of purpose, that deeper place of self-study and this journey through yoga. Yeah, and
I
then
love that.
in addition to the yoga teacher trainings that we still are hopeful that we may be able to continue with some that we had planned for this year.
Cross your fingers. Yeah, totally.
We need these life experiences for people out there. And what's been really wonderful is our teacher training at the beginning of this year ended just before a lot of this pandemic started, and I've heard from quite a few of those students that said that training helped them
Mm,
to be able
beautiful.
to work through this and what they're going through right now. They now have these tools that they can access and that they can connect to that is helping them through this stressful and fearful time for a lot of people. So that really reminds you what this yoga practice and what this journey can do. It's so much more than beyond the mat, as so many of us say and experience through yoga. It goes way beyond that mat in the physical practice. It's really how can it touch your life and help you get through life
Mm,
in challenges, because we
absolutely.
all come through challenges in life, and I believe that yoga can help us face those challenges with a little bit of more grace throughout the process.
Well, you're a shining example of that. And it's so lovely to connect with you. And especially you're in Bali and you're still showing up on camera. You're here for this live streaming interview. You're showing up for people that want privates. You also do, the Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays or Friday classes. And all of this, by the way, if anyone's watching right now, either live or on the archive, go to katienesbitt.com or you can follow her on her Instagram. And she has her full schedule there. And we encourage you to participate in any of the classes that resonate with you. And, it's one of those things where you get to be wherever you are, and it's an international experience. And so the benefits, as Katie was mentioning, is that we all can come together and connect and be in our heart spaces. And it is something really special. If you have waited already, it's already been about 2 months. If you have yet to do an online Zoom yoga class, it's really special how people do feel energetically a synergy of that global awareness that we're all in this together. And as Katie said brilliantly, like we're all in our own vessels, our own boats, and we're all in our own situations in life and circumstances. And we can all come together and unite in our breath, in our intentions, and to uncover our passions and to keep raising the vibrations of our own heart space, as well as collectively share this power of yoga. So do you have any closing words, Katie?
No, I mean, I would just say that we're in this weird chapter right now. And I am looking this as a chapter, and how can we utilize this chapter even through the hardships, the struggles that we are all going through, every single one of us to some degree. But how can we use that as a way to slow down, to reconnect to where we want our life to take us? Because we still do have choices right now, even though it seems like some of our control or some of our parts of our life have shifted and changed a lot, we can
Yeah.
utilize this time to reconnect to yourself. Like it's a very pivotal time for a lot of people right now. And it will all open up again. It will open up. It's going to look different. We all, I think, can understand that. It's never going to go back to the normal life that it was before this. But
True.
what can we create from this right now? And I do trust that the doors will open again, the planes will open again, and
You'll get back to LA at some point.
right, I'll get back to LA at some point, and then I'll be off around the world again.
Of
And a
course, yeah,
big
you're an
piece of what I
adventurer.
do is and I like to bring people on those adventures. And that's why
Totally.
I have transitioned into leading yoga retreats around the world, and I'm very hopeful that is going to be happening again, and we're going to need it even more after all of this, is that connection again, and that connection with different cultures in the world, because that's what a lot of these retreats I like to lead are about. It's about opening up your eyes, again, opening up your heart to these experiences, and then you take that with you back into your life.
Aho, I love that. Well,
We'll
thank
get there.
you
We'll
for
get there.
shining your light and really being courageous enough to move through your entire journey of, as you said, like you had some times when you were down and like bummed, you didn't know what direction, purpose you had. And it's interesting because you end up, leveraging this amazing part of who we are, these temples. You're still an athlete and you get to like take it to the level of the mind, body, and the spirit. So you're expanding upon what you're already embodying. And I love how you really focus in on the heart space and you bring that energy to the class. And I've experienced that. And I really, I'm just grateful for you showing up. As you said, that's like what it's about, right? And any person out there that hasn't taken a class or been to a retreat, go ahead and go to katienesbitt.com. She has a newsletter that you can jump on and you'll get updated about upcoming classes, the Zoom classes, as well as any information that will be shared around retreats and other possibilities to work with Katie. So thank you so much for your presence, for your energy.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. I'm grateful for you.
Equally felt. All right. Blessings to everyone. Keep on enjoying your day.